welcome to this review video for 4 new 6x4 battle mats by Gamemat.eu. They've just released these ones here, very exciting releases, a couple of them here, very nice indeed. And in this review we're going to take a look at all 4 of these mats one at a time and give you a full view of what they look like. These mats here are revolutionising games of Warhammer 40,000. Now there's opportunity where you can really add a nice backdrop playing surface to your games of Warhammer 40,000. But we're going to take a look at all 4 of these and get an idea of how good these mats are. Right, so getting into the review here, this is the first mat that we're going to take a look at. It's called Tales of Mars. 6x4, they're all 6x4 mats here, so perfect for games of Warhammer 40,000. It's quite a brave move here. They've gone for a sort of a Mars, surface of Mars sort of effect here with this mat. Very nice looking, strong red, sort of orangey theme to it. Craters across the board here, or this mat. Sort of a larger crater system here. Very atmospheric sort of mat, this one. So the material, just like you get on a mouse mat, that rubbery kind of effect, and then a sheen on top with the design printed on. Nice and vivid and strong with the colours. Perfect for games, really. Drop dice and it's nice and quiet. And then especially for lead and fine cast figures, if you knock them over, it's very figure friendly and they're not going to get chipped or damaged. So battle mats, ones like this, very handy to use in your games of Warhammer 40,000. Great thing about them is they just roll up nicely, put them away, easy to transport around, and all you have to worry about is just the terrain that you put on top. So you could buy a mat and then you just make your custom terrain to go on top, whatever theme you decide to go for. But that actual gaming surface, which is often the hardest part to sort out. Usually you have to custom build a board, it has to be stored away, but with mats you just need a flat surface to roll them out and then you're ready to play, and you can place your terrain straight on top. So I think they're a great idea. They work very well. They roll out nice and flat. You need to roll them up carefully, don't let them get buckled, and then every time you roll them out they should come out dead flat every time, just like this one. Looking very nice indeed. I think there's some custom terrain that we have here at the club that I can use on this one. So I've got an idea of what kind of terrain I can put on top of this. A very atmospheric game. Love to see Ultramarines fighting on this one. Skitarii as well, I'm thinking of, would match this terrain very well indeed. But that's Tales of Mars, the first one. Looking very good. Right, so there's an aerial overview, just giving you a view of the whole design there. Nice features on there with the low-lying craters to the right-hand side, and then just the full detail. I'm guessing it's an aerial photograph of the planet of Mars. I think that's what's been used. You can't get much more realistic than that as your starting point for this one. But it'd be fascinating to see if I can come up with some terrain to use on this one. But I would say it's a good idea to choose the theme that you want, if you want to go for this one, and then collect some matching terrain to go with. It would look pretty good. Imagine you could sculpt some nice rock formations for this one, and then some sort of red coloured kind of stones to sprinkle on. No vegetation, of course, for this planet surface. And I reckon you could make a very atmospheric and cool looking board for your games of 40k, especially now with Skitarii, that race. Cult Mechanicus as well being released would match this very well indeed. Right, the next battle mat here, 6x4, is called Highlands in War. Quite a straightforward design to this one. They've gone for just vegetation, sort of broken ground here, but nothing too major on this one here. So it's a nice plain backdrop to build your terrain up. So there's nothing that gives it away as sort of a fantasy battle mat, so therefore it's perfectly viable that you could use this for historical games. And just the scale of it here, sort of 25mm games, 20mm games would look very nice on this battle mat. So Warhammer, Age of Sigmar will go very well on this one as well. And then of course 40k, there's no reason why you can't set up sort of jungle type terrain for this one as well. And just thinking, because there's not a strong design as far as the vegetation is concerned. It's just really grass. You could use this for any type of greenery. So you've got the conifer sort of forest effect that you could go for, deciduous type European sort of style, and then also the jungle terrain as well would match on this. So again, multiple uses for this one here, and then I think it can be used for multiple types of games as well. It's one of those standard mats that you can use. I'm going to zoom in here on some of the details just to give you a closer look on this design. So that's the sort of broken ground effect there. It's very well done. Nothing really repetitive about this design. And then coming across, you've got these small rocky outcrops, but it's nothing extreme to it. So it's a nice, simple design, but enough, of course, the detail, it looks great. So you can easily lay out your terrain across this one of any type really that will match this one. Looking pretty good. I'm going to zoom out here so you can get a full view of the whole mat. So there's the zooming out there. This is the full view of the mat, and as you can see, nothing too extreme in the design. A nice foundation for a game of multiple different periods. So any historical period will go very well, and then obviously Warhammer, Lord of the Rings I'm thinking of you could play on here as well, and then 40k you can put your terrain, sort of jungle or forest terrain. This mat would be perfect for that, and I think they've improved the designs at Gamemat.eu. There's the repetitiveness is really been dealt with very well here. There's not much of it at all. The design is looking very good indeed. So that is Highlands in War. We'll go on to the next one now that Gamemat.eu have produced. Right, next design here, again, a very atmospheric one that Gamemat.eu have produced. Fallen Earth, this one is called. I was quite surprised that they did another one of this style. There's a similar lava type design that is already out there, but they've produced this one here called Fallen Earth, and it looks very, very nice. Now, the previous design, the one that's similar to this, did have a bit of sort of repetitive graphics used in it, but this one here, as you can see, that repetitiveness has been dealt with, taken away, and the matte design looks very, very good indeed. Very, very atmospheric game that you could play on this one here. Again, you could play Age of Sigmar on here, Warhammer, quite easily, and then games of 40k as well. So a nice usage here for both of those types of games. And it just means often maybe you're playing on sort of grassland terrain, quite a lot of urban. To get one of these mats just really changes the whole backdrop to a game. And it just means that you can have your same army laid out, but when the backdrop changes, it really adds interest to games of 40k, Warhammer and Age of Sigmar. So there it is there. It's sort of this ash kind of wasteland, and then this lava sort of breaking through on the surface. There's an aerial view there, just showing you the whole design. Looking very, very nice indeed. It's not totally black there. You can see the difference between the backdrop there and then the actual mat itself. There's kind of a colour has been introduced into it, and that just sort of helps to emphasise the orange contrasting colour there. We played a number of games on this one already, and it looks very, very nice indeed. With this one, I'm going to show you how it looks with some terrain actually set up on it, just to give you an idea. And when you see this, you'll see the custom made terrain, and then just some stones, and that helps break up the terrain and that where it joins the mat itself. But you'll get an idea now as you take a look at how good a table can look with these mats as a backdrop. Right, this is just an example of one of the mats set up here, Fallen Earth. It just shows you how you can build up the layers. You have your mat as the base, just that excellent colour scheme and theme, and then you're able to build up the layers of the terrain on top. So I'd custom made this a few years ago, and it just blends in nicely. The key is just to put some scatter and some rocks to break up the edges between the two, and then a little bit of lichen as well, and then some battlefield accessories, and then you have yourself a really nice theme to the board. And you've got still a soft gaming service, figure friendly, and nice and quiet for the dice rolling as well. When you're done, just put away your individual pieces of terrain, sweep up the stones, and then roll the mat up, and it can be stored away. So really good use there for the gaming mats. Nice variety now from Gamemat.eu, and there is a nice example there of how the mat can actually be used, or the different mats can be used and set up for games of 40k. So that gives you an idea of how good the mat can look with the terrain on it. So we're going to go on to the last mat here, and I think it's my favourite of all of the battle mats that I've seen from anyone, I think, so far. A very, very nice battle mat coming up next. I think it's one that's going to do very, very well indeed. Right, this next battle mat, 6x4, is called Quarantine Zone. I'll walk all the way around so you can see the mat. So you've got a road network that's been put on there for you. Very strong with the graphics on this one, and then that layout for putting your buildings on. So, I mean, for this, you get the mat, and then just for 40k, just simply buy a couple of Imperial sectors, and then paint them up to match the terrain that you see here. So match this sort of grey kind of colour, introduce your rust and metal effects, and then try and incorporate a bit of yellow into your design. And you just simply put on your buildings on the corners, and you've got yourself a beautiful looking Imperial city to fight across. Design work on this one is excellent. Just look at the details here on the surface of these. So, as I said, you run your building up to the edges here, and then on all the corners and different types of terrain, and then you've got yourself a very nice urban looking theme to a game. These battle mats are great for just introducing a lot of colour and interest. Straight away, just roll them out, and then you've got that gaming surface, nice and flat, figure friendly. And then quiet with the dice rolls. And what I've done here is this black surface here. That's just the mats turned upside down. So again, another use for them. You can just use them as a foundation to put the mat on top. And then once they're on, the mat doesn't grip. It's rubber against rubber, so it doesn't move around. There's no chance of knocking this mat and then everything goes flying. An upside down mat holds it in place. I've just put two of them together. There's the join just there. And that just gives you a nice black surface as well. So another usage for the mats as well. I'm just going to zoom in here, show you some of the nice detail work that's been done on this urban mat design. So there's a close-up there of that sort of rusty work that's been done there, and you can see the difference here. You go over to a road surface, and it really is a proper road surface with road markings, sort of slight cracks as well. Sort of markings that have been put on the roads. It does contrast to the interior there, and then that boundary is where you would put your buildings to go. Different surface types. You've got a different style to this one. Nice use of colours in this. You know, it's hard to build up with just plain grey, but what they've done here is introduce lots of different colours and themes and styles onto the one mat. It adds a nice sort of variety. Some subtle graphics work done there. Then this nice rusty in sort of industrial fan system they put on, coming around a bit more there as well. It's good work. It's nice detailed work, and then here this nice checkered as well, just giving you different interiors. Nice work here as well, the rubble, nicely and subtly done. It's good work that Gamemat.eu have done with this battle mat here. Right, so there's zooming out with this design just to give you a full view of what this mat looks like. Very, very nice work that's been done on that one there. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make a suggestion here for Gamemat.eu. I wonder if they're going to do it. I think it's a very, very good idea, but more details on that in a second. So I think, wouldn't it be a good idea if Gamemat.eu could do a second version of the same design? So they take this exact theme here, but change the layout on it, perhaps have like an open courtyard in the centre here, but change the street system around, and then have a second design that follows exactly the same theme. Then that way you could match the two mats together and design it in such a way that you could continue it on lengthways, so you could run the mat out in this direction. Then that way you could make a 12-foot by 4-foot table, or perhaps run it so you could do it square as well in the same design, and that way have an 8-foot by 6-foot table. And I'm sure you're beginning to see the reasoning behind this, and that's so that you could easily set up an apocalypse game or just a very large game of 40k, and then you haven't got that worry about the terrain repeating itself. Now this one you could buy two. Just thinking here, you could buy two. You see here, these two would match the ends of another one. So if you did repeat, if you did get the same two mats, then yes, you could do that. And then at the top as well, you could, I think you could match down the side as well. But that's something for Gamemat.eu perhaps to consider. So there's the same style, but then just changing the actual layout around and then making the actual design slightly different, so that you've got two mats of the same style. I think people would like to have two choices as well, would be a good idea, and then buying the two just means you could combine them to make a nice apocalypse game. I think the idea could work very well for this kind of design as well. So you just have a continuation of the mat. So same colouring, but just changing the design around, and then perhaps you could go for more of an adventurous, perhaps like a big open lava flow, sort of 8-10 inches wide, just a solid yellow lava and all cracks flowing out. I think it would look awesome for this mat type. And in a game of Apocalypse, you could join it on. To the end of this one, you got yourself a massive table to play games of 40k or Warhammer, Age of Sigmar as well. I just think it just adds more variety, more options, and then that ability to play big Apocalypse games with a nice big gaming surface to use. I think what puts a lot of people off Apocalypse is trying to organise the terrain, and often you'll see tables they're struggling for a gaming surface to use. But if you joined a couple of these mats together, and then if they were slightly different designs, you'd have a very, very nice gaming surface for big games of 40k and Age of Sigmar. So it's just a thought there. We'll see if that happens, but these mat designs here are very, very nice indeed. Right, so that's the review video for those 4 new mats by Gamemat.eu. They're a nice job. Quarantine Zone is the one on top, perfect for your games of urban fighting, not just for 40k. I can imagine you could have nice games of Infinity on there and different gaming systems as well. Then you have Fallen Earth, which is this lava type one here. Then Tales of Mars, this red surface, very, very strong theme to that one. Nice graphics on there. And then more of a standard type mat here, very useful for historical games, Age of Sigmar, and then 40k. You could set up all different types of foliage for that one as well. That's Highlands in War. Right, so you can get these from Gamemat.eu. They're based in Europe, so they can ship all across the European Union and to the UK as well. Check them out for international shipping. You might be able to get a hold of them as well. I know of people that have bought them from overseas as well, so there are options there to get a hold of these mats. It just means that you can very quickly and effectively add a very, very nice gaming surface to your games of Warhammer 40,000. There they are, the 4 designs. Look out for them in future games on the channel as well, and you'll be able to see how the terrain is set up and used on these game mats here. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.